See, you're distracting. Let me share the screen again. Okay, so this chapter talks about observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. We know that it's a war between the same family. And we also know that if you have got a chance to read Mahabharata, it's a great option. There are fantastic, it's a fantastic read. It's like a sequel and you should have it. There is a book written by Krishna Dharma. He's actually compiled the Mahabharata in a very new favored format. It's very nice. It's really good. It's very moving. It's continuously, you will feel like as if you are in a movie theater, understanding. It's like a movie called Troy. So it's nice. It's good. It's very, very fast paced and it's very nice. So in the same way, Bhagavad Gita is fast paced. It's completely taking through a journey of 18 days. In that, the chapter 1 discusses the focus center on observing the armies in the battle of Kurukshetra. Which are these two armies? This is just a single army, but divided into two armies. The armies of the Kurus. Okay, so we go to this. The chapter view focuses on 4 subject matter. One is the setting of the scene. There is a very need for setting up a scene. Of course, it's like a big drama. So you need to know the actors, characters, and also the kind of designs which is being present to you to set the scene. Second is why Krishna is called always all auspicious. What is Krishna's another name, which is called the Bhakta Vatsala. He is the most dear to the devotees and he is more dear to his devotees. So that's one. And finally, to understand the entire Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has put someone on the pedestal to make the personality confused so that he can speak Bhagavad Gita and to make us all understand through him. So that's why the last part is Arjuna's confusion. Okay, so let's go to this. This is the place I was talking about, that there is a place there called Kurukshetra. If you go to North India, very close to Delhi, Delhi is a part of the entire Kurukshetra area. It's not directly Kurukshetra, but it is a part of Indraprastha, which is the kingdom of the Kurus. So, and from Kurukshetra to Delhi, it's 100 kilometers or so, 150 kilometers. So you can practically see that there's this place is being presented in such a fantastic place. These are the places where actually the war actually occurred. This is the battle area. Now they have made it as a monument. So they have Krishna and Arjuna in the chariot, and this is the place of a big lake called the Brahma Sarovar, where Lord Brahma actually meditates. Okay, so now we are here. We are talking about a very subject matter, which is talking about a huge war, which is going to be here. This is how it is. 700 shlokas. Dhritarashtra spoke 1, Krishna spoke 574 shlokas. It did not start with Arjuna Vacha or Krishna Vacha or Bhagavan Vacha. It started with Dhritarashtra Vacha. The reason is, we will actually touch upon in the next slide. So the entire thing was 18 Akshonis. It's a huge battlefield and there are 18 Akshonis of people. And it contains, each Akshoni contains this much of people. We are talking about a massive massacre in 18 days. Almost everyone died except for a handful, maybe around 10 people or 15 people. And those who could not actually stay in the battlefield, they were like cowards. They had to cover up themselves because Arjuna was fighting and firing cinders. So they couldn't handle it. So they ran away. They ran away to which place? They ran out of the continent. They came and settled in different places in the European region, the African region, and into the regions of American region. So they are the people, because there is a mention of these different tribes in Srimad Bhagavatam called Pulindas, Hunas, Andikas, and all those different places where these people have stayed back. Hungary. Hungary is a place where the people from Hungary were there in the battlefield, there four others, and they could not stand the power of Arjuna, so they ran away. So all these details are there. So this is all authentic science. So it's not someone who's speculating or contemplating to write some kind of a nice novel. It's not. Okay, so we start with the first shloka, which is very, very important and crucial, right? See, it says that Dhritarashtra Vacha Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra Samaveta Yutsavaha Mamaka Pandavascheva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. I assure you, I will not ask any one of you to read any of the shlokas. So you are all safe. I will try to read as much as I can. Just in case I am also stuck, I will also skip it. Don't worry. Okay, this says, Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? This is a kind of question a person of the nature of Dhritarashtra is trying to explain. Dhritarashtra is fundamentally a blind by birth, but he is physically blind, he is mentally also blind, and he is spiritually totally blind, because he is talking about a subject matter which he is not in strong strength on it. That means that he is not on top of things. Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. It is not Kurukshetra, Dharma Kshetra. It says Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. Means Dharma Kshetra means it's a place of religion, place of pilgrimage. This is the place which is called Kurukshetra. Why is it that the people on both sides want to fight in this place? Why? Because this place has a strong hold of keeping and upholding the evils. So anyone who is religious is always going to be the winner of this place. Even though he knew about it, but he was not sure about whether the sides of the Pandus will win or the sides of the Kurus or the Kauravas will win. Potentially, he is one single father for both the families, but unfortunately, he chose to differentiate. He discriminated his sons from the sons of his brother Pandu. So the impact was that he wanted to mention it in that sense. It's very significant, because that's why, most of the times we also go through these kind of turmoils, that we are not very sure whether we are clean or clear, right? You need to be very precise about good or right or wrong, or we are choosing the right options or the wrong options, just like yes or no. You may actually say yes, but the answer may be no. That's the kind of thought which is going through this king. He is supposed to be the emperor of the world. Now he is in that kind of a very peril situation that he is not sure whether he will be able to take it up further and think. Then he is in the minds, in the core of his eye of his mind, he is thinking, oh, maybe I will have a faint chance that my sons will win the battle, because this place is Dharma Kshetra. But he didn't realize that his sons were not with Dharma, but they were with Adharma, means irreligious. So that's where it is that we started with Dhritarashtra Vacha, the first one. So this is the mindset which Dhritarashtra contained, and that's what is being going to be answered to him by the disciple of Vyasadeva, who is Sanjaya, and he is trying to go and give all the details about what's happening through his very superior vision. One, Dhritarashtra always was doubtful. He was never very clear, because it's clouded mind. Clouded mind is always very difficult. Just like how if you go to a pond, if you just drop or throw a stone or a pebble, it will create a lot of riffles, and then a lot of mud will come up. So obviously, when the mud comes, you can't really see what is inside. But when the mud settles, then you really can see a clear thoughts, clear visions, and clear visibility. In the same way, Dhritarashtra's mind was full of doubt. He was very fearful, that he was of the opinion that what will happen to my sons if they don't win it. Will they all be dead? And then if that's the case, then what will be the issue? The issue is, what is the use of having a Raja without the Praja? Means, what is the point of having a kingdom without the subjects? It's useless. So he was very fearful of that. And he was naturally very partial to his sons compared to the sons of his brother, who are the righteous heir to the throne of Kauravas. So this is what we actually learn from the first verse. Any doubts and clarifications till now? Any doubts, clarifications? If you have, so kindly make a note. We'll touch upon it, because we are running short of time. I need to complete it in another half an hour.
It's still clear, Prabhu. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so it's not shut now again. I might be going a little more faster, but it's an overview. So you need to understand that. You need to go back, read through the verses of the chapter 1, and then make notes. Come back. We can discuss it a little later on a separate session by itself. Okay, there you go to the next one. This is a very important subject. Again, the subject is that now Dhritarashtra has spoken to Sanjaya that what is going to happen, what's happening around me. I can't see it, so at least you come and relate to me. So now, after that is started, now the battlefield, the scene is going to be set up now. So the setting up scene happened in such a manner that Krishna and Arjuna, they are seated in the chariot by the wonderful, powerful 5 horses of the Supreme Lord. The choice was given to people. The people were represented by Duryodhana for the Kauravas and Arjuna for the Pandavas. So Krishna came and said, okay, this is where it is. I'm not going to fight, but I'll be a part of the battle. And so there was a sudden silence. So Duryodhana was given a chance to ask what is the alternative. So Duryodhana said that, and when Krishna opted this option, he gave 2 options. One is, I will be a part of the battle, but I will not fight with any weapons. Second one is that the other person can take my complete army also. So Krishna's army is called the Narayana army. So that also was available. So Duryodhana chose the army instead of Krishna. So Arjuna was very smart that he accepted Krishna, that not even to battle off. So now this is where they are. They are sitting in the chariot, and now they are going to blow the conch. Before this situation is happening, there is a very important situation which we need to understand it. In the battlefields of yesteryears, they were very honest about when they fight. They never used to fight in a very irreligious manner. Of course, you can see that kind of irreligious manner in which the fight happened in this Mahabharata war also. That's when all hells broke. And that's how the situation has been designed in such a manner, because end of the day, this is it's a drama of the Supreme Lord's decision. His desire to eliminate the entire Kshatriya population, the warrior class in this face of earth. Why? Because the earth was completely burdened by them, pounding with so many artillery weapons, so many nuclear weapons, that Mother Earth had to submit herself to the Supreme Lord's lotus feet to ask her to get this kind of a solace that these people are pounding her. So that's practically, we are seeing that scenario and situations in our own current lives. Like Amazon rainforest is burning. It's the lungs of the world. You can practically see what's happening to us. This is man-made disaster. Just yesterday, there was a huge glacier which broke in India. More than around 200, 300 people just washed off. They don't even know where they are. So now we are in this situation now that Bhagavad Gita is spoken at a time, even though it is pretty old, but it's never old. It's Nava Yavanam. It's always natural. It's always quick and forward. It is giving you a lot of real time, every time, absolutely fantastic positive vibes and inspirations. So here, Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadatta Dhananjaya Poundran Dadama Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrikodhara. Lord Arjuna blew his conch called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his Devadatta. Bhima, the voracious eater and the performer of Herculean task, blew his terrific conch shell called Poundra. When the Kaurava army, they started preparing for the battlefield, which they used like kettle drums and bugles and conch blowing and many things, just to make them more passionate about the war, or make them very robust and rigid so that they are ready for the war. So when the Kauravas actually blow the conch, there was no effect or impact at the Pandava side. They were all okay, relaxed, okay, they're planning to do something. It was like a lullaby coming to their ears, and their happiness in face and all that. Because generally when you blow a conch, the warriors are very excited. They want to say, come on, let me go and fight. That's how you see. Well, we need to actually imagine a little bit to see the scene. Then we'll know what exactly was going through these kind of great warriors. But here, when Lord Krishna blew his Panchajanya, which is his conch, and Devadatta by Arjuna, the hearts, already many hearts in the the Kauravas army, it just blew off, and they were not able to hold the power of these great conch shells when it was blown. So that's why this is being highlighted in the chapter and in the 15th verse. Okay, now I need to tell you very important situation, because this is a part of the real fact of life, that the Pandavas were actually, even before the war started, they were actually feeling the signs of victory. Why? Because one, Krishna is present with them. Wherever Krishna is, because the first chapter and the 18th chapter has a link. Whatever I complete now, you will actually touch upon at the last part of the 18th chapter. Madhava mentioned. Madhava is another name for Krishna. Madhava is none other than husband of the goddess of fortune. Wherever the Lord is there, goddess of fortune is always there. Wherever Krishna and Arjuna is there, there is always going to be opulence, victory, and immense power. You can be rest assured that anyone who is in a part of this Krishna's army, they are always going to be one. Never in the history of the lifetimes that Krishna has ever lost. He has never lost. He is always a winner. And if you are winning with the part of that winning team, you will always be winning. So second thing is that Hanuman is connected to Ramayana, and Hanuman is also connected to Mahabharata. But Hanuman did not fight during Mahabharata because he was pretty old. But however, he agreed to stay as a powerful war crier on the flag of Arjuna's chariot. So he was sitting on the flag post of Arjuna, and he was giving a war cry. That war cry itself collapsed thousands and thousands of soldiers. Just the war cry of Hanuman. So you can imagine how powerful Hanuman is. But he said he will not fight because he's too old for fighting. But it's not the case, but he chose not to fight. That's what it is. Third one, this is a very transcendental chariot which Arjuna and Krishna were sitting, that we saw in a few slides back. It's given by Agni. Why? Because this has got all kinds of weaponry which is immeasurable in its value. And it doesn't just reduces in its usage. The more you use, more it gets generated by itself. It's an auto-generating weapon systems which are available to him, and all that are 99.99%, they were all nuclear, and there are nothing called some pittance of some sword and a knife. No, they were all really powerful weapons. And Arjuna personally went to different areas in the entire world region to collect these very special weapons which are ignited, thought processed through the mantra recitations. So that's chariot given by Arjuna, given to Arjuna by Agni. Agni is the fire god. And of course, we have the transcendental conscience, which they were blowing now. We saw it in the last slide. So what did we learn from this section? One should take shelter of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, has nothing to fear, even in the midst of any kinds of calamities. This is simple and fundamental. This is very essential for us to take it as a takeaway, that whenever Krishna is present, whenever Arjuna is present, there is always happiness, peaceful, power, wealth, opulence, and you name it, all kinds of positive vibes always are there. So we need to take shelter of Krishna, who is the supreme hero in this entire Kurukshetra war. There are two heroes. One is Arjuna, another one is Krishna. So Arjuna and Krishna, they're always there to inspire people. They are very good inspirators. So that's where it is that we need to take it as a part of the lesson. Hope this is clear till now.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Okay.
If anyone has any questions.
Okay, keep it on hold. We'll just finish it. Another 20 minutes, we should be up and running.
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhu.
So we are now moving on to from the first section, where both the armies are present in the war field, which is in the part of Kurukshetra tract of land. And now Krishna and Arjuna are seated in the chariot, and they are actually discussing how to go about. But in the meantime, Arjuna suddenly had a thought. What he wanted is, he wanted to practically see who are the people who are really there in front of me, who wants to have a fight with me. These are the people whom I have been with, and all the time thinking about it and playing with them. my brothers, my uncles, my grandfathers, my teachers, my relatives, my friends, my whatever you call, all my was here. They are all here in front of me, but I want to really see who they are. So they have not yet started the war, but they are thinking about strategizing themselves of how to go about, because he's the hero of the entire war. So he needs to design. So he needs to decide. He needs to design how the entire process needs to be gone, because these war patterns are variants. In the olden days, they used to have different types of formations of the different akshonis, like a Garuda formation or a eagle formation, or kind of a snake formation, or any other different chakravyuha formations, like a concentric circles, many variations. So he needs to understand strategies how to go. So you wanted to ask this question. Arjuna vacha senayor ubayor madhye ratam sthape me achyuta. The word achyuta you see indicated here is very nice. Yeah, there is no a here. It's just put a tick and an apostrophe on top. Means it's taken from two words called the sandhis. So you have to take it as two words equal to me achyuta yavad etan niriksheham yodo kamam avasthitan khair maya saha yodavyam asmin rana samudame. Oh, Arjuna says, oh infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desires to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. One word is very fundamental here, which says infallible. The word achyuta means infallible. Infallible means there is never a chance of thoughts, even in the lowest of people's minds, that Krishna will fail. He is never failal. He will never, there is no word called fallen in the dictionary of Krishna's words. He is always Dhrida. He is always the perfect personality. So that's why we need to understand it. Arjuna is trying to say that, Krishna, please take my chariot. You can see Hanuman in the flag post and the flag, and you can see the 5 horses ready to just strive on. And this is a very powerful chariot. Arjuna is instructing. You can see how very low, even though Krishna and Arjuna are friends, but Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Arjuna is the living entity. He's representing that. But Krishna was ready to be his chariot driver. That's the lowest level Krishna can go in order to be with his devotees. That's why he is called Bhakta Vatsala. He is completely sold out. If a devotee just offers a flower, a fruit, or just a cup of water every single day and simply asks, oh Lord, please accept this as an offering. Of course, if you are good, rich enough to offer a better one, you should offer. But if you are not even the most lowest or poorest people, you can simply offer a flower or a fruit or a cup of water. Krishna accepts. He sells himself to his devotees. That's why he's called Dina Dayal, Bhakta Vatsala. Always that feature is very strongly present. Now, what is that we learned from here? We need to understand established relationship with one who is always infallible. Means to say that you connect with the Supreme, who is never going to let you go. 99.99% of the relationships which we have in this world has some kinds of truffles, right? Our relationships are so futile and very, very weak in most of the times. It's like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. Moment the scratching stops, and that's it. You go your way, I'll go a highway. But here is a personality who is ready to build up that bridge. He is ready to give you a chance to connect with him. That is Achyuta. So that is what we are trying to mention and establish, that we connect with the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, who is infallible. That's the lesson learned in this part of the section. Now, there are very strange situations which are occurring to Arjuna here. He's sitting in the chariot, but there is some kind of a very vague symptoms which are taking him over. As soon as Krishna is being dictated by Arjuna to take the chariot to the center of the battlefield, Arjuna had these kind of strange situations. These are very common situations even to our own situations, in some kind of a testing situations which we are put in. What are the symptoms? Limbs of my body are quivering. My mouth is drying up. My whole body is trembling. My hairs are standing on the end. My Gandiva bow is just simply releasing from my hands. My skins are burning. and I'm unable to stand any longer. I'm forgetting myself. My mind is completely reeling. I see solid grace of only misfortune. This is what Arjuna is trying to say, because he is a very sweet at heart. He is a personality. He might be very powerful warrior, but he is a genuine Vaishnava, means a person who is very, very dear to the Lord and is very, very soft in his heart. He is a very lovable person. So now he is having all these kind of situations. This happens to us because, let's say, for example, when you are asked, when you are just suddenly put on a spotlight, right, and you ask a question, our mouth starts drying up. We don't know what to answer, whether it's good or right, or what if I say something wrong. Or some people don't want to ask the question. Why? Because they feel that it might be a very stupid or a cheap question or a low question, that we probably may not be the right question in a different forums. We have these kind of situations coming to us in different flavors. But nevertheless, we'll take that these are the symptoms what Arjuna actually went through. Okay. So now I have very important connection to this Arjuna not finding situation. What made him not to be ready to fight, but he started saying all these kind of, these are the symptoms which he said, right? So he wants to know why is it happening? What is the reasons Arjuna is trying to give? Very, very tricky, very, very cheeky, but very, very clear and precise reasoning which Arjuna is giving to Krishna not to fight. One, he says compassion for my friends and relatives. The brackets which I am showing you here is the slokas or the verses you can actually refer to so that you are comfortable why it is being discussed in this. Compassionate for being with friends and relatives. He is practically seeing everyone whom he grew up with. His grandfather, Bhishma Dev, who took in his lap and he created every single weaponry which he wants to learn. Dronacharya, his spiritual teacher, his material teacher. And there are many, many powerful friends whom he is, all these people are in front of him, right? Then second thought and reasoning which you want to give it to the world or into the area to the Supreme Lord is no enjoyment. What's the big deal if I win it and if I don't see any of my friends, relatives, if they are all slain? Because one has to win, one has to lose. That's a part of life. There is always two sides to the coin. So now the point is, and no enjoyment I'm going to be enjoying. Why? Because those people whom I want to enjoy with are not there anymore. So what's the point in fighting this kind of a war, right? It's disastrous for me. Third, he came out with a very strong, very specifically Vedic related question. And he's saying it's because of the fear of sinful reactions, right? There is Einstein law, right? For every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. So if you kill someone, you are going to get killed. So now there is a sinful reaction associated with it. So how am I going to relinquish that? How am I going to relieve of that? It's not going to happen so easily. I'm going to kill so many thousands and thousands of people, 18 Akshonis. They're all sitting there just in front. And now we are talking about a serious subject matter. Why should I fight? So this is the third reasoning which he is trying to give. Fourth one, standard statement, destruction to the family tradition. See, he is a Vedic um, lifestyle practitioner. He's a Bhakti Yoga practitioner. He evaluates all this based on the Shastric evidences or the scriptural evidences. Now, he's talking about a fourth point, saying that destruction to the family traditions. What are the family traditions? People don't start to do something called samskaras, means something which is to be done. Let's say, for example, someone dies, right? He need to be cremated. He need to be given some kind of respect, and he needs to. We consider that when someone dies, all the matter of his body goes to the different matters based on the earth, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. So all these things. So you need to respect all those traditional values. You cannot. Moment you start destructing, what will happen? The women don't have any protection. The children don't have any protection. So there can be a lot of unwanted population, Varna Shankara, which can proliferate the entire world. Why? Because people are not that intelligent enough to protect themselves when there is a destruction in family traditions. And finally, he was completely bonkers. He's bonkers. His mind is blown, whatever you call it as, it's blocked completely from not able to take a corrective decisions. His mind is clouded. So he doesn't want that to happen. So now he wants to give that as a reason for not ready to fight. So what does Arjuna state? This is what it is, right? Arjuna's state of mind is the beginning of the war thoughts. Sanjaya said this in this to Dhritarashtra, saying, thus Arjuna having thus spoken on the battlefield, he just casted his bow and arrows and sat down on his chariot with his mind overwhelmed with grief. He didn't know what, he just took his two hands, strong, powerful hands. He just kept on his head and said, oh Krishna, you're putting me in trouble. I don't want to fight with my own people. You have made me to come to this level where I'm practically seeing all these warriors just in front of me. Right? I don't have a choice, but I need to fight, but I can't because of the 4 reasons he gave. And now, without any discussion, he just sat on the chariot. What did we learn from this chapter? These are very important. We are almost coming to the end of this chapter. Chapter actually guides us to the feelings of Arjuna after he observes the army. Right? Generally, we all have this kind of thoughts. Sometimes we lose some of our dear and near ones, but at that point of time, we are not sure what is the kind of mindset we have, what is the kind of thoughts we have, how am I going to overcome these kind of inabilities in my system, right? We feel very low, we will feel lethargic, we feel very depressed, we feel very rejected, dejected, right? This is something which is happening to Arjuna, which is what practically is, and he is lamenting for the situation that he gave an option. He requested Krishna to go as a messenger and ask for, because we are Kshatriyas, if they can at least give us 5 villages, that's enough for us. We don't have to beg out, and we will just manage the 5 villages and just pay the tax and live our life as Kshatriya kings. But Duryodhana said, forget about 5 villages. I can't even give a place in this entire cosmos because I am the emperor. I can't even give him a place where a small thread can go into the needle, the size of a needle. So you can imagine that inclined or indicated that they are only ready to talk about war and they are not ready to talk about compromise. See, in human lives or in our lives, naturally, we should always look for situations or constitutionally positioned that we should always feel, even among our own friends, relatives, our own spouses, we should always look at every day is a big fight and a battle which we go through. So we should always look for a win-win situation. If there is no win-win situation, then there is going to be a lot of ego which will fly left, right, and center. So this is exactly what is happening with Arjuna. And he was not very sure. So he started lamenting, oh God, what is this? This kind of situation is coming to me, right? Arjuna is practically representing us. And thus he is perplexed, right? He wants Krishna to give him some kind of a good advice. We always try to go and seek some good solutions from some very good, thoughtable, knowledgeable, very presentable people, right? But he's not sure about what to do. He is, because it's his job. He is a Kshatriya, as a warrior, he is supposed to fight. But now he has just left his bow and arrow and say, I'm not ready to fight. Now, he's expecting Krishna to give him some kind of instructions. Why? Because it's an easy way of escape, right? We all want to do that. When being told to Prabhu, can you do this? Can you do that? And say, why are you asking me? Why don't you ask someone else to do it? So this is what naturally happens to all of us. So now we'll look into it, why exactly Arjuna is going through and how exactly Arjuna is going to overcome all these things, right? So now at the point of conclusion of this first chapter, we are almost like 7 minutes, 9 minutes rather. Yeah. Introduction of Bhagavad Gita was explained. There are 3 divisions of Bhagavad Gita, which is based on the six chapters. There is exclusively 4 sections of each of the chapter. What is Dhritarashtra's fear? Krishna as Bhaktavatsala, we saw that he is sold out to his devotees. That is why he's called Bhaktavatsala. And he's always ready to accept any kind of a level. He took a very humble position as a chariot driver. Chariot drivers in the war and in the Kshatriya clans or the warrior class are considered the lowest of the warriors level. So, but Krishna took that post. So that's the way Krishna is for his devotees. And then we also saw the sign of victories already even before the war is going to be starting, right? The different things like Hanuman in the flag was ready to call for the war cries, and many things like Agni gave him the wonderful chariot, which is everlastingly filled with weaponry and all this. And finally, we also touched upon the reasons, the 4 reasons why Arjuna want not to fight, and he was trying to give an escapist thoughts and ideas to Krishna. Now, I am going to stop at this point of time, which covers the essence of stop sharing. Okay, we are all alive still and very happy. I don't know how many devotees joined and how many of them have left, because I was just sharing, so I don't see others, and you are the only ones who can see me.
All are present,
So this is okay, great. So I'm very happy that we are all safe and sound. We are all alive, and no one is sleeping, and no one is switched off. Anything. Great. So I stop here, and I'm happy to take a few questions. But of course, there is a 17-day more to continue with this subject matter. Don't think we are putting a full stop today and then that's the end of it. It's a long journey. So I'm going to be with you for the next 17 days. And I'm also happy that I'm a part of this journey. This is a great learning for me, because Bhagavad Gita is a book. When you start expressing your thoughts, you will start getting more new thoughts. So that is the power, and that is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. It's Nava Yavanam. It's always churning out. This is a new things which keeps churning out. So my humble request, I don't know how many of you have Bhagavad Gita. If you all have a Bhagavad Gita, please look into the chapter 1. It's like a small homework for you. It's just 40 odd verses. So you can just go through it, translations, and see where you have not understood it. End of 18 days, you will be proud to say for yourself that by God's grace that you have been enabled to read Bhagavad Gita in one's life. That's the greatest achievement by any human. Believe my words, in India, there are people whom you can go and talk and then say that they know Bhagavad Gita, and if you start quoting verses, they will fall at your feet. Why? Because they know that anyone who has understood the Bhagavad Gita knows the value and truth and complete life's goal. So that's where we are. Okay.
Can we take this opportunity just to ask, is anybody present, and please raise your hand, if you do not have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita as it is? So this translation by Srila Prabhupada. So if anyone is on the class, because it would be nice if we all get a chance to read this chapter tomorrow, or the translation at least. So has anybody not got a Bhagavad Gita? Because we can get that sent to you.
Yes.
First class in the post. So please raise your hand if you do not have this translation, the Srila Prabhupada's translation as it is of the Bhagavad Gita. Has everyone got?
If you have it, that's great. Oh, I see Kelly. She doesn't have, I think. Is that correct? Oh, she doesn't have.
Okay, Kelly.
No,
nice.
I have Hare Krishna. I have Prabhu. Sorry, I was just moving something.
Okay, so I thought when you said that, I thought.
No,
anyway,
sorry.
one more book
nice to meet you, Kelly.
One more book into your library is always good for you. You can share it with this. This is a knowledge not for you, because Prabhupada explains that we are all only single gardeners. Doesn't mean that we can do the entire gardening for the entire world. So when I speak to you, I'm expecting that you speak to a few of your colleagues, friends, relatives, and dear and near ones, and then give this message to them. Then what happens? This message is never going to be. When you eat a mango, right? If you eat it yourself, it's going to rot. But if you share that mango and give it to others, and then you also eat it, the taste, the sweetness, the happiness you get is many bounds. That's the idea behind it. All right. Okay. I can take 1 or 2 questions so that we complete on time. Otherwise, start early, complete late is not good. So we should be on time and on time completion. Maybe tomorrow onwards we'll be on time from 7 o'clock onwards. Pratap, my Prabhu, if you can please work out the polls and
yeah, we'll get the polls up for tomorrow.
Attendance sheets and all that. That's only for our own comfort, and then so that we are all very sure and clear about. And you are all attending, because at the end of 18 chapters, I'm going to ask a series of questions. I actually wanted to ask 3 questions. If you are all okay, then you can all answer this. Okay. Yes. So first question, you are saying it. What about the others? You are spokesperson for everyone. He is doing everything by himself. What about the others? Okay. So the first question, what I want to ask is that Krishna and Arjuna, I'm going to ask you very simple questions. I'm not going to complex it. Okay. That's fine. Krishna and Arjuna were in a battlefield. What is the place called?
Kurukshetra.
Good. Okay, first question. Oh, that's Penny. Wow. Penny. Okay, good. Kurukshetra. Okay, so the second question is, Krishna and Arjuna were in a battlefield on a chariot, which was not given by someone, but which was given by someone.
Agni.
Agni.
Agni, fire.
Agni gave it. Ah, fire god. Correct. Second one. Third one is very simple for everyone. What are the 4 reasons which Arjuna gave to Krishna not to fight?
Relatives and friends, sinful reactions.
Sinful reaction. Good. That's 1.
Compassion.
Compassion. 2. Very good.
Relatives and friends.
Fighting against the relatives and friends.
Yeah, lamentation.
Lamentation. Very clear. Okay. So what else? There is one more thing.
Enjoyment and not taking decisions.
That is the most important. Indecisive nature of a human being.
Indecisive.
Right? Indecisive. He doesn't want to decide. He was not sure about whether it's right or wrong, whether he needs to fight or not. That's very important. Thank you. So we are all in the same page. I hope it's okay and it's not very fast and we have covered it. Any other questions? Anyone wants to have a question? 1, 2, 3. You can ask it. I'll just mute my mic.
Vasant Mataji had her hand raised. Yes.
Yes, I missed one of the conditions Ganesha was given when he was writing the Gita. So what were the 2 conditions given to him?
The condition is simple. First is Vyasadeva asked him to write Mahabharata, basically not Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is inside Mahabharata. So Mahabharata is the main book, but we take a specification from Bhagavad Gita. That is what it is. So the first question Vyasadeva asked Ganesh is to start writing it, but he should not stop writing it. Let's say, for example, I say, you start saying something. You should not ask me back. What did you say? What is it? Sorry, wait, I'm typing. Sorry, wait, what? No. When Vyasadeva starts talking, Ganesh should not ask the question. You should start simply writing it. That's the first question. But the second question which Vyasadeva put on to Ganesh is that you can write only when you understand. If I say something like pneumono mono ultra microscopico siliconiosis, do you know what I said?
No.
I'm serious. I said this word, pneumono mono ultra microscopico siliconiosis. You go and search on Google, you will get. This is the largest word for a medical deficiency.
It's a lung disease.
Yeah, it's there you go. He's got an answer.
This
is what it is. But how did I learn it? I learned it. So that's how it is. So you should know what it is. He said lung disease. So that means Ganesha can write. If I say no, it is something else, right? So then Ganesh cannot write. So that is the second question which he presented. Okay.
I have 2 questions. One,
okay, just one by one.
At the beginning of the Gita,
right.
It says we have in our lives we are often faced with the same unsolvable problem. If we win, we lose, and if we lose, we lose. So can you expand on that a little bit?
This is a question of a longer duration, but I will just make it very simple. Generally, we all have to look at positivity. So that means that the situation is actually built upon us at this point of time is actually being pressed on us. It is not a natural evolution. We have been focused based on the media. Media is trying to control us, and there are the governments are trying to control us, are trying to do in many aspects. Now we have to look at how we can understand our practical life as it is day in and day out, right? We all have our challenges. So we need to understand how we can handle this. So we need to look at how we can deal this in a win-win situation.
Right, okay. The second is, I mean, if we are spiritually weak, for example, dealing with lots of issues in our life and, you know, with the standards in the philosophy are very high. If we're struggling with it and we've surrendered, but then we're losing the taste, what do we do?
Bring back the taste. What is making you lose the taste? You need
I
to
don't
bring
know.
back no, you know it. Without your knowledge, how will the taste go down? You know it. It is just that the way in which you have decided or your desires are getting weaker because you are not associating with those people who are more stronger in their taste. Right? Spiritually, we are all always weak. We are never strong. It's natural that we are always weak. But how do we acclaim ourselves, or how do we get the better taste, become more stronger, is only when we are associating with people who have got better taste. Param Dishta Nivartate. We'll actually touch upon that particular shloka later on. When we start getting the taste, we should be connected with the people who have more taste. Then automatically we will become stronger, and there is a lot of stability in our life. So we don't have to worry about it, that, oh my God, I was very enthusiastic at the start and suddenly there is a dip in our liking. I don't want to do it anymore. It's not giving me any inspiration any further, right? That's not the way we look at things. The way in which we look at things is that by God's grace, by someone's conscious help, some support, they have given us some food to our thoughts. So we need to cling our hands with them in a stronger fashion. And prayers will help a lot to improve our standing in this world. Will that help you?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay then. Okay, can we take one last question and then stop for the day? If anyone has, otherwise I'm very happy. We'll stop. Langton is half sleeping. Is he all right? Or is it his photo?
He's just relaxed with it.
Okay, then it's great. Dominic is already inside the bed, I think.
It's a blanket.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. I know it's getting late, so we'll stop here. And we will start again once again tomorrow, same time at 7 o'clock. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you all. I hope this was good. And I just wanted to send out maybe Pratap Mai Prabhu, you should plan for a sort of a poll, because I think we should also have to understand whether the chapter is going good for you, everyone, or is there some kind of a weak link from my side where I can improve upon it and start presenting it better, or maybe you can present it and we can all watch and hear something like that. It's good to have a poll, and I hope that this is a pretty good start and good thought for every one of us.
Mika Masji's posted in the chat box.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Vishal Prabhu, and all the organizers for today's wonderful start. Very happy to be with you all.
Nice, thank you. I hope
Very
that's
well.
one indicator. So anyone is not happy with any of this, please raise your hands. We'll see what we can do about it. It's the other way around. Okay, no one is, so everything is good. No news is good news. Okay, Kelly Mataji, thank you. All right, we'll catch up tomorrow. Thank you all.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Krishna
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Jai Shri Gauranga Prabhu ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Srimad Bhagavad
jai.
Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.